College is a weird time for a lot of reasons, and I feel like after high school, people warn you about how you're not going to talk to a lot of those people ever again. But I didn't think that would include one of my closest friends. So, welcome to a new video where I'm talking about how people come and go, even your closest friends will eventually move on. Now, this isn't a be all end all. This isn't going to definitely happen. I just wanted to talk about my experience in this sort of thing and talk about the last little bit and finishing high school. Now, that influenced my friendships. So, I was friends with this one guy for pretty much all of high school, and we were really close friends. Um, and the idea was that he would move about 2.5 hours away to go to university, but we would still remain in contact. I'm staying home and attending college, like living at home still. So it's a bit different for me. And so anyway, we that was kind of the plan all along, but it wasn't that big of a worry. And we would get together every so often and work on the game that we were making for computer science class. And it was fun. It was good. And one of our main bonding points was playing video games together, whether it be Overwatch or Call of Duty or Terraria or something. We would play these games, and it wouldn't necessarily just be the games. It would be the experience of it more as a backdrop. We would catch up and talk about stuff over these games. It was nice. So, a few months before school ended, I noticed a change in him. He started to talk about partying and drinking a lot more. Now, this guy was probably the biggest nerd I knew, and like very little social skills, and just like completely oblivious to social cues and stuff, right? And so hearing that he was going to parties was kind of a surprise for me. And I didn't think much of it. I was like, good for you, dude. Get out there, do whatever you want to do. So now, these parties included, I'd say, his friend group, because I was kind of friends with him and like secondary friends with everyone else in that group, if that makes sense. And so I was never invited to any of these parties. And I'm not going to pretend that that didn't annoy me. It would be, he would come talking about it, and I will admit that I felt jealous because I was more concerned about why I wasn't being invited. And it was almost every weekend too, and so I I kind of went into a cycle of figuring out why he was getting invited, but I wasn't. Because, that takes a toll on you. And I feel like if anyone can relate to that, they know what I mean. So, anyway, yeah, so there is a bit of a change in him there. And, and so this was nearing the end of high school. Then at prom, he got absolutely wasted, and I was one of the few sober guys there, and so that that wasn't really fun. So throughout the summer, we would get together for a little bit, an hour or two at a time, and that was good. And he was moving away at the end of August, and I was staying here. And so the last time we got together was probably mid-August, and the entire time he just seemed kind of distracted and more focused on telling me about these new drinks he was trying out and all that stuff. And so the day where he's moving comes along, and so I text him. I'm like, "Hey, dude, today's the day, right? You're moving away." And he responds with one word, "Yep." And that's the last I heard of him. That was about 2 weeks ago. And I feel like I was replaceable. I always kind of felt like that, where we only got together to work on our game from computer science, not to just hang out. And so I started to doubt that he wanted me for my company and more for this project we were working on. And that realization kind of hurt. It gave me this feeling that I wanted to cry, because I've always kind of been a backup friend, and I thought that we actually had a connection, And it's not a good feeling. I feel like if any of you can relate to this, you know exactly what I mean. And sadly, there's no fix to it. Now, I'm in college now. I haven't made any new friends. I have a few guys that went to my high school that are taking the same program, so I guess that's good. But I don't really want to make any new friends. I'm kind of jaded. I know it sounds weird, but I don't know. It kind of left a bad impression on me. So the point of this video I want to make is that friends will come and go. And people change constantly. And sadly, that's just how it goes. So you are changing. They are changing. And sometimes you guys just have to go your separate ways. I also want to point out that you have value. Whatever value you have isn't found in how many friends or what friends you have. Sometimes those people don't support your values or don't support you as a person. It took me a long time to realize that, and even now I still struggle with finding my self-worth from myself and not from other people. Just because I've spent so long thinking that I need validation from my friends. And so I think the point is to not be worried about being by yourself and being alone. I've talked about that a little bit before, but I feel like this is a bit different in the sense where you will have friends abandon you, unfortunately. Not everyone is going to always be there for you. And that's what annoys me when I see these things that are like, hey, if you're struggling, reach out to a friend. And I get the point of them. I get it's supposed to be for support. But I also feel like I don't have any friends that would support me. I don't feel like any of them are close enough to understand or would care enough to understand. And that's the sad truth. But if you can realize that, I think it would hurt less, because you're not building up someone who doesn't actually exist. Kind of all over the place here, but I hope you guys get kind of my main idea and the main themes of this video, because I'm kind of all over the place too. I wasn't sure exactly how I was going to approach this topic. I'm also kind of being careful of identities and people's feelings in real life, just in case, because you never know. So, yeah, I think I'll end it around here. Just know, if you're struggling, if you're alone, if you have no friends, that'll always change. You just need to surround yourself by people that support you and understand yourself, understand you, okay? So I'm going to wrap it up here. I've been yapping on for a good while. So take care of yourselves. Stick around for the next video. And yeah, we'll come back together at some point and yap about something else, all right? So take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.